There's been some secret meetings, secret emails behind the scenes
Go ahead and you
of
talk. Cause you let me know when you're ready for me. I'll just
okay. Um, the for the lack of a better phrase or term or description, I'm not saying this name exists. This is just me because you've seen Dumb and Dumber. I don't know if I'm dumb or dumber, but this is the only kind of name that comes to mind is the Man Hater Club. The Man Hater Club of Lake Forest got
What's the
together.
Dumb and Dumber?
I,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I've heard that's a reference to our capabilities. That's our
Us?
nickname around. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Us?
That's
Oh, you're
that's
kidding.
our
I love it.
that's our nickname from the Man Hater Club uh,
So
of
what is
Lake
this
Forest.
club? What are they saying? And they met and what's going on?
You can't vote for Dr. Tack. Number one reason, you know why?
Hmm.
He's a guy.
Huh.
Can you even say guy anymore? Number two, something about the railroad. Do you have something to say, Skoo? The Man Hater Club of Lake Forest is getting together, and they're scheming to get somebody other than a male to run for mayor against Dr. Tech. I've seen the email. I've had somebody tell me about the. I guess there was a conference call of all these people, and there you go.
Hmm.
You got something to say?
Yeah, I heard about this.
Okay.
And, first off, you can call it whatever club you want. I just think it's shame on to all those people. I mean, these people have for years benefited from the caucus, supported the caucus, and that process. Even though, and I think Pete, from day one on, I've been on this thing. I've always said that I support the process, I support the caucus, and it's sometimes when it goes haywire, it's the people, not the
Yeah.
process. And the
Right.
process has worked for 90 years. I know you feel your way about it, but
Newcomer.
yeah, you're a newcomer. Um, but it works. It's worked, you know, effectively and efficiently, even though some people don't like it. And it's worked for me when I volunteered, and it's worked against me when I've tried to volunteer and further go. I still
Yeah.
support it. Last I checked, there's an overwhelming amount of women on the caucus. I don't know the actual percent, but I'd say it's close to half of
Okay.
um, the existing 43 members. Went through the process, and I do remember from what I've heard is Randy Tack was selected above a few women. The process worked. I don't know if he's going to be a good mayor. He's a pretty good alderman. I don't know him personally, but I have faith in the process as it worked. And tonight's the night. Obviously, 2 nights ago was the night
Yeah.
when everyone comes out and vote. But now all of a sudden we got this surge of hate because there's not a woman on there. And I just got to say, again, shame on these women who are creating this angst, because there were women interviewed by the caucus and were turned down, not because of being a man or a woman, because they weren't qualified and they didn't answer the questions the right way. And Randy did. So now they want to urge all these people to not vote for Randy and go against the caucus that has served them to their benefit and who they've supported. I just think it's so hypocritical. And if it's true about the women that are in this group, it's even more hypocritical because they've served for the city and they've done great jobs and they serve, but now because they didn't get their way, they're going to tell people, don't vote for him. And then they bring up all this other crap, when he was an alderman and all that. And, I just think from that point of view, it is just absolutely ridiculous. And, I hope people tonight vote, because it should be just a rubber stamp in this process.
Yeah.
Because first off, we, the residents of Lake Forest, elect the 43 caucus. Well, the 43 caucus minus the exec council. And we won't get into that. So, 4 times 9, there's 9 in each ward. So 36 people are elected by the citizens to represent the citizens in each ward to effectively interview, promote, and bring to the mayor candidates to volunteer. And that includes mayor, alderman, and all that. And that process is accepted and played for 90 years. And now all of a sudden, because supposedly it's time for a woman, well, I'm sorry. I think women are great and all that, but I'm never going to say it's time for a woman because, 15 years ago, it was time for a woman. And when they interview, if they don't pan out, that's just how the process works.
Is that a train?
And yeah, it's the third rail. They decided to come through town instead of going out west. So, it's just crazy. It's like people don't get their way. And all of a sudden, it's this. And here's my thing. You know what? That whole group of women, if you don't want to vote for Randy, we have a process in place. The caucus, the city of Lake Forest, and the residents, including those women, have officially approved and nominated Randy Tack for mayor. Okay. If you don't like it and you think you need someone else in there, you have the option of running against the caucus slated candidate. Go at it. Go file. Make sure you get all the things in place and then run against them. But don't come back and try to undercut the process that's there that served all you women that are screaming about this because it's a joke. Period. And I've been one of the most vocal people about the broken caucus and how things don't work the right way and all that. But the process works. Once again, it's the people. And you know what? Dave, whoever the president is, I think I said this is going to be his biggest test this year because of all the aldermen and the mayors that are coming up and people are going to run against it. And it's his job to show leadership with the caucus. He needs to reach down and start showing leadership and thwart this tonight when he gets up there and not cave to it because it's not right. There shouldn't be, people protesting and all that because they're hypocrites. They approved it by approving the caucus process. And Dave needs to stand up and show it and not put up with it.
Is that the one that's really running the caucus, or is it that new alderman that
I don't know. His wife's an alderman now.
Yeah.
But however it is, if it's him or if it's Dave, stand up. Yeah. Don't take the crap. This is a bunch of BS that they're doing tonight. And hopefully we all stand and vote and not get deterred by it because this is the process. If they want to blow up the caucus, blow it up. Your best way to protest, stick a candidate in there, female if it has to be a female, and run against the caucus. That's your right. That's what you should do if you're against it, period. Don't be sending emails. Don't be running around to your neighbors screaming and hollering that the caucus is broken and Randy Tack is the worst person in the world because he went through the process.
Yeah.
And was selected by 43 people that we've elected to represent us for the volunteers and all that. So, if you don't like Randy, again, I don't know him. Guess what? You get to vote against him. Put someone in there.
I think we've been for and against the caucus, and some of the other people that they've put up there, we've talked crap on. And
Right.
I think Dr. Tack, I'm fine. You know what I mean? It's
and here's the thing, and I think Prue Beidler was the kind of person that was going to be, that everyone thought was going to go through, and she didn't. And I don't know the facts on what happened. I heard her interview wasn't good, her final interview. So, I mean, and I like Prue. I think she was a great alderman. And, but, you know, I know there's several people that don't interview well, but they look great on paper. Do I agree that's the way you should take it? Because, he or she didn't interview well. Well, yeah, that's part of it. But again, you got to look through, and this is the problem with the caucus people, is they don't look through who it is, how they served, and all this stuff. Okay, but whether they do or don't, the process is this. Prue didn't get it. And if Prue really wants to be mayor, or if Melanie Rummel wants to run into the footsteps of her husband and, you know, be mayor also, go file with the county, get everything set up to run against Randy. But
lawn signs.
Yeah. So here's my thing. You know, you go and vote tonight and you listen to this noise and you don't turn down that means the caucus got to go back and redo interviews and all that. And do you think because they're going to pick a woman now? If they have to go through the process again, I don't even know if that's precedent that they have to go through it and all that if he's not voted in. But here's my thing. I mean, that's not the guarantee, even if it has to go, the woman's going to get. So this is crazy, absolutely crazy, psychotic stuff that's going on right now. But we've seen it in the past, the last couple of years, with people in this community not getting their way. So let's subvert everything, and you know, look at the lawsuit the city got in because of the condo building and all. Now they're settling, and guess who got screwed up? The city. We did. Whether they settle or not, and there's a building or more going up. So it's just this noise and noise and noise because I'm not getting my way. I'm gonna, you know, stir the pot and get, you know. Again, who's going to say that these people aren't? Run, go against it and run against it. But I don't know. I just think, and then this whole train thing. Well, the train thing in a nutshell, I believe it's the Canadian Pacific that owns that line out there, and then you know, Amtrak uses it also, and you know, from my understanding, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. But there was a proposal that Canadian Pacific wanted to put a third rail, a sidetrack, out there because the overall need was running a stop from Lake Forest to Milwaukee, because you can't go to Milwaukee on Amtrak unless you catch it in Glenview, which it makes sense to have it here. Yeah. Now, the people out west feel that all of a sudden we're putting in, or CP is putting in all new train tracks, and it's a side track, so freight can pull to the side if an Amtrak's coming through or whatever. And you know, they could sit there for a bit and run the engines, you know, idling and all that, and the people living out there, you know, scream like, you know, they're going to die and all this because of that. And, you know, they're not going to be able to sleep. But all I got to say is that freight rail runs 24/7. I hear it from my house. You know, I'm sure it's loud out there, but guess what? These trains have been going through there before those houses were built. And it's a necessity if we're going to really have a connection from Lake Forest to Milwaukee, which there should be. And I'm going to tell you one thing, scream all you want about it. If CP decides to do it, they're going to do it. And guess who are going to be the first people jumping on that train in Milwaukee? Everyone that's screaming against it. and they're going to say, while they're sitting there enjoying their cocktail and all this, wow, this is so awesome. I didn't have to go to Glenview or drive up to Milwaukee. I can just take the train now. How wonderful. So I've seen it before in the past for the newcomers that didn't get to experience some of this stuff before they got here, like yourself. This is old news. This is typical Lake Forest. You know, when the grill restaurant was put up there and replaced by Knaus Motors, was replaced by the grill restaurant in Laurel. You got in my neighborhood, every person negative about it, how that restaurant putting that there is going to destroy the neighborhood. They're never going to be able to sleep at night and more than likely die from fumes from restaurant, whatever. And guess what? The restaurant was put in there, and guess who the first patrons were? Everyone in the neighborhood, and saying how wonderful it is. And now when they shut down the restaurant a few months ago, they were like, oh, what's happened to our restaurant? Oh, weren't you screaming against it? Now that Sophia's is in there, everyone's back. So this is a never-ending replay of different stuff. Joanna Desmond, who's screaming, you know, she hung her hat on this third rail when she ran for alderman and got completely squished by Era Gashgarian because she didn't have anything. She ran her whole platform on the train, no pun intended, and had no other responses or what she was going to do as an alderman for the community and all this. It was just train. And now it's being brought up again because Randy voted. If he did, I don't even know. But if he voted in favor of it, now he's the, you know, on the evil empire side. It's like, I mean, don't get my way. I'm going to scream and do whatever I want. Follow the process. I mean, all these people, again, you know, come on. You've supported the caucus. You've been on the caucus in a board, commission, or whatever in these people's lifetimes, and they supported how it all works, as long as it goes their way. And now, unfortunately, the mayor didn't go their way.
Yeah.
And let's subvert the whole process and blow everything up.